Think we're recording. Yes, we are. Hi there. I'm Lisa Loring, and it's been a week since I did a video to do a reading for everybody on the new moon. And actually realized, sorry, I was cooking earlier. Oh, no, this is just the string on my, but I was cooking. Anyway, the energies of that new moon have been just amazing. And I posted that this was the nearest the moon has been to the earth, the nearest new moon to the earth in like 1037 years or something like that, like something ridiculous. And this really, we've been talking so much about the age of Aquarius being ushered in, and this is one more, this is an Aquarian new moon. Of course, the Chinese, the Lunar New Year. And it's the year of the rabbit in Chinese tradition, but I think it's the year of the cat in Vietnamese. I found that out too. My daughter did a performance about a week or so ago that was celebrating the Vietnamese New Year. She was hired to do some really cool performance art for that. So at any rate, this whole new energy, this new perspective, this freedom of self, this freeing up of, I think one of the last things I was able to kind of post was Goddess Uzumi, who is also, Uzumi, is she Japanese? I think she is Japanese. So, speaking of these Asian, joyful Japanese goddess of laughter and mirth. I mean, when you see this card, how can you not, And that was the important thing, is like, to bring in more of this laughter, to be, laughter is very freeing. And, that's what we want to be doing is, we want to laugh at ourselves, and take humor and have a sense of humor about, you can either look at how long it's taken you to get to some of these realizations that you actually have more freedom at your disposal. And it really is a mindset perspective. It's, dialing in, and, we can either be really we can focus on things, which was the last big reading that I did, was just, what are we focused on? You can either like laser beam focus and just be like forcing yourself to do it, or you can actually take in everything down to this one point and have joy while you do it. And that's one of the themes that's coming up. The things that we've changed a lot about. We can have joy about, we can do things with a light heart, or we can, continue to treat it as drudge, but that's not freedom. That's not freedom, right? That's a ball and chain. So what are we doing? How are we doing things? Can we do things with, this notion that, whatever we're cultivating, even if it's on a small scale, is very abundant. And the goddess Lakshmi, goddess Lakshmi came up, and she's an Indian Hindu goddess of abundance. So we want to definitely bring that, that I'm creating something wonderful, creativity. That Empress card came up, what a week, kept coming up. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and do a reading today for Monday. I'm going to try to do this, these next few weeks I have a lot going on. I've got a lot I'm creating. Ooh, hi. Oh, the Hanging Man has already come up. I've already got one card. I've got a really busy week. I've got a lot of things I'm creating and doing, so I will try to do as many readings as I'm able. I'll kind of, like I said, I do them when I'm feeling the movement, the move to do that, feeling excited about that. And that's what we want to do. We want to feel excited. We want to feel joyful, and not just do things to do them, So right now this reading is for Monday, but as it turned out, like we said, last week, that reading was really one that carried through the week, which it's one that to sit with, meditate on. And before any new moon, that's something that we want to do. Again, Dorothy Morgan, astrologer, New Hampshire astrologer, she talks about how there's this like a 3-day period right before any new moon is called the balsamic phase. And during that time, we want to take and meditate. So I don't really like to do readings prior. That's really not an appropriate thing. We want to be sitting and going within so we can, cultivate and plant, and then, bring things to fruition. And that takes some meditation. That takes some, decisions sometimes they feel like they're made on a snap, but if you look back, you know that you've actually sat with things for a little while to create that focus. And that, when a new moon is a time for planting, it's a time for, changing things up, for renewal. Queen of Cups has come up. There she is. Balance and Emotion. This is the Gilded Tarot by Chiro Marchetti as the artist. Barbara Moore is who wrote the booklet that goes with this. So they collaborated on this. Collaboration, another Aquarian thing. So yeah, we're being ushered into the age of Aquarius. I'm going to go ahead and angle the camera down so you can see the cards. And I know it's a little awkward when I do this, but I'm going to go ahead and oops, that's not the way I do it. Sorry, now you're looking outside my house. I think, this is how we do it. I forgot. I'm like, gosh, it's been so long, I forget how we do it. I'm having a little tea here. It's got this awesome saffron chamomile tea that I love. Tazo tea. Saffron is a mood elevator, PS. Saffron's orange, any kind of orange. Yeah, and I noticed she's wearing a lot of orange. Again, things that follow your I'm getting on that. Follow your emotions. Feel your emotions all the way through. She's a queen. This is somebody who is not any of the court cards. They could represent somebody in your life. They could represent some aspect of you. They generally represent people. Something you aspire to be. And maybe in this, we aspire to having the kind of mastery of emotions that brings us into that creative space. The Queen of Cups is a one aspect of the Empress. The Empress card is that major arcana card, just as the hanging man here is. The Empress card is one that would embody all the aspects of all the queens in the deck. The Queen of Pentacles, the Queen of Cups, the Queen of Swords, the Queen of Fire. And so what's showing up is, to cultivate in the center, this is, so far the central card in the reading, is to cultivate, a mastery of emotions as a queen would, in order to behave in a queenly manner, to be nurturing to the self, to be able to feel all of the emotions all the way through, in order to, develop those other aspects of us, to have mastery of our emotions, to be intelligent with our emotions, so that we, they're not overrunning us in a way that's incapacitating, and then we're not being able to be productive. We're not really able to feel what that actual passion is, where we want to direct that fire as would a Queen of Fire, or have the kind of mental mastery. And again, the Queen of Swords is that kind of queen that's been around the blocks. She's seen it all, and she has a good idea. She's got lots of strategies about how to handle things, and a thoughtful way of doing that. And the Queen of Pentacles is one that is also very nurturing. All of the queens are, but on the material plane. And she, takes good care of her family, and takes care of, the things that her family values, finances. She's very astute financially. So, the Queen of Cups is here to show us that, with mastery of our emotions, we can be in a queenly, in a sovereign and nurturing state of our emotions, as well as the emotions of those around us. And she's offering a cup here. I'm actually going to turn the cards around so everybody can, see them in the way they're coming up. The Hangman is always tricky because it looks like it's a card in reverse, but it's not. And one thing I failed to mention about the reversals is that, if a card comes up in a reverse, it's not necessarily just a negative thing. There's various ways to look at it. It depends on how it comes up. It just could mean an emphasis on something. Now, a Hanging Man in this position always seems to be in a reverse because it is an upside down individual. So this is taking a different perspective of things, and taking that thoughtful, like I said, here, 2 came out, 2 or 3. Okay. 2 came out. Oh, that 5 of Pentacles has come out, and then Knight of Wands. So I'm going to just leave those here. Bottom of the deck is the Three of Swords. So there's some kind of heartbreak or some kind of, there's a lot of things that have come into, that, we may be feeling a lot. We may be feeling a lot. A Three of Swords is, could be a lot of people involved in a heart-centered, in a heart matter. But these are swords. So it's basically our thoughts can really, can come in and, either, we let our thoughts run away with us. And then, like I said, we're not in that we're not, and all of a sudden now we're all in an emotion, we're embroiled emotionally with whatever feels like it's really, our heart's passions. And then we're in this kind of Knight of Wands situation. A Knight of Wands is a knight who, a knight is a card of action. So we're liable to take action. And I also see that the Five of Pentacles came up with that. We had the Five of Pentacles in a recent reading. But this is about, again, I told you that Goddess Lakshmi came up earlier for me personally, but I think she, I was compelled to just bring the Goddess box down here. I don't know that we're going to pull a card from that, but this is, her presence is to show us that, there is so much abundance in creativity. But if we are feeling like we are looking at only what we don't have, then it's really difficult to be in a place where to be creative about with what we do have in order to, make us feel like, okay, like we have options. It's not just about, material things. Sometimes it is very mental. We can impale our own hearts 3 times, 6 times, 9 times, 10 times over. Once we let those emotions start to make our thoughts super racy, and either we're looking back at things that were things that caused us heartbreak, fear, things that where we felt like we had no options. And when we get into that place, this is where we're at. We're in a place of lack, and we're not looking up. And remember, these people in the Five of Pentacles are looking down. They're looking down. They're not looking up at the sun that's coming through the beautifully crafted windows. Stained glass windows are a work of art. We are a work of art. We are sovereign. Each of one of us is a sovereign being. And we have so much to offer. She is offering a cup toward all of this. She's like, wait, but I have a cup for you. And I noticed that the clouds are breaking here above her. It almost looks like lightning. It's, some kind of like halo around her head. It's like, and the way this card is, you can see the way that cloud is. It is like a kind of halo over her. Being in that spiritual, recognizing our spiritual divinity, our connection to God, spirit, universe, our connection to nature, however you connect to things that are bigger than you. I say that all the time. I notice that light and those clouds are also here with our hanging man. If he may feel as though he's got to take a step back, and he may feel like he's upside down. But if he takes a little different look at perspective, and I see him actually looking up toward that light. If we look up toward the light, look up out of the things that are, maybe have been ways that we behaved in the past that impaled our own hearts, where we abandoned ourselves and broke our own hearts. Maybe we wouldn't be running off willy-nilly. I do love the Knight of Wands because he has a spontaneity. Although, you've got to rein that in. One of the things I like about this particular deck is that his card is not rearing. It's not like I think in the Knight of Cups in this deck, it shows that he's rearing at a very insignificant, like a little mouse. But in this deck, this knight is coming along in a way that looks pretty resolute. So, unlike in other depictions of the Knight of Wands, he has, again, I see the purple flowers, the purple on the leaves behind him. That again is royalty. He's moving. It may feel that we're moving in a way, and this is part of Mars going direct having gone direct in Gemini. Uranus also had gone direct on Sunday evening. in the Western Hemisphere. And so this is a starting of motion. Finally, we're kind of seeing that forward motion. But, there might be things that were hanging back and, forgetting our own divinity. We have that Eight of Cups has come up again too here in this deck. Remember that was in the that pervasive reading from last week. Is we are going forward, although we do need to this is a perspective. Check your perspective. This is checking your perspective. If we look up and look around toward the light, and it might feel like, oh, this is a card of imbalance. You know what I mean? It's very much so in this. And if we can check on that, this, he may feel like, oh, I've really slipped off the wagon here. Oh my gosh, I really feel like there's a lot going on. And maybe you feel a pressure to start moving forward in a way that's a little faster than you're actually prepared to do. Instead of looking around at what you're not prepared for or what you don't have, just work with what you do have. Look up, ask for guidance from whatever it is. And I notice he has the number 4. He too, as in most every deck, has a number 4 shape happening with his legs. Now it's an upside down number 4 until we turn him the other way. And once he gets right up, he'll figure out where he does belong. And it certainly isn't hanging upside down forever. But hanging upside down, actually, you know what? Do that. Lay on your sofa. Look back. Whatever. Do a handstand. Be childlike. And just do something, and that's what's coming up is like, get out, and that's Uranus going direct. Uranus has gone direct in the house of Taurus, where he's been for some time and will be for some time longer. I think he went into Taurus in 2017, and I think he has like a 7-year transit, so he'll still go back and forth, but he just went direct, and he'll come out of shadow in May. But this is part of like figuring out where we belong. And in the house of Taurus, it's like, what do we value here on the material plane? What are we cultivating in our lives? Again, do we value ourselves enough to, to actually love ourselves enough to ask for help, to look up to the divine, to look within our own divine self, to look and feel the way all the way through our feelings to figure out where it is that we do belong? Because it certainly isn't looking down when there's so much around us, that there's so much abundance that's on offer. So that's some things that I wanted to share on that. I have a deck here that I've never used in a reading, and it's just a chakra card deck. And I'm just going to pull a card from here. When I was looking in my basket of tarot cards, this is a deck. It got wet, so I don't have like all the cards. But this is maybe a way that we can help ourselves a little bit. And I see, especially since the heart chakra is the heart is being impaled here. It's some heart work, some breath work, to feel, to steady the heart. And tomorrow, I teach yoga online, and tomorrow's class is about a standing series about how to how to push our feet down into the ground, connect, be solid, be steadfast. This is a more steadfast night than I've seen on any other deck. I mean, it doesn't mean anything, but and certainly in any deck that I possess. But these are all very solid. He's not solid, but how can we get more solid? It's actually feeling our way. Even don't be afraid to feel your way through the heartbreak, because that's going to get you, moving beyond the things that didn't fill you up in the past, the ways of being, the perspectives, with the Judgment card here. This is a wake up call to do things differently, to come out of the ways that we approached ourselves, the ways we approached our lives on the material plane, the ways of cultivating things in the past that weren't cultivating, that were literally, I posted yesterday, casting seeds. There's a parable from Christ that talks about, casting seeds onto 3 different types of surfaces. One went onto fertile, some really rich soil. One went on like some rocky soil, and one went on some, kind of shallow, like more like kind of off the side of the road. And, the stuff that ended up being cast carelessly on the rocky ground, didn't even catch any kind of traction and grow. They just, the seeds just withered and died right there. And then the ones that kind of fell to the side of the road, they did root, but they died quickly because it was so shallow. But the ones that, the stuff that went onto the fertile ground, like, the story, that was what became abundant. Like, what are we cultivating? And are we, being careful? Are we being focused on what we're casting, where we're casting? And what's our intention? What's the feeling behind that? Because we have to do things differently. Then the old ways of doing things just don't serve us. The defensiveness, we want to be resilient. We want to be able to be resilient and flip ourselves, flip this around. So now we're up, and now we're not only up, but we're balancing on a wheel. Like, we've got some skills, and that's the thing. We do have the skills. We've been through a lot. So what's the body wisdom chakra that, the cards here are offering us to work with? What's the advice? Here we go. Again, an orange one. Oh, the appendix. So it's a second chakra. So again, I told you, second chakra is the sacral chakra. Oh my goodness. The Manipura. Oh my gosh. All right. So second chakra, power of relationships, sexuality, creativity. Is fear preventing you from receiving the flow of good in your life? Affirmation, I am safe and trust in the flow of life. Queen of Cups is about flow. Right? She's about a flow of emotions. I can trust the emotions that I feel enough to investigate them. I don't have to worry about, devolving into some kind of heartbreak just because I took time. Now this Hanged Man is about taking the time to, feel our emotions all the way through. So instead of going off half cocked, this guy is, taking his time even to feel through the what might be a flood of emotions. And instead of getting sucked down into like, oh my gosh, I feel like this and everything's going to be like this forever. Looking up, feeling the emotions, actually letting them inform you. There's a richness there if we can take the time. Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and pull from the Rumi deck. I already talked about Goddess. You know what? Since we're here, I'll go ahead and pull out Goddess Lakshmi. So we have her, and you guys can have a little image of her. No, that's Hera. Where is Goddess? Hera. I know Hera. Yeah. Where is Goddess Lakshmi? Ishtar. I want us to have her out so we can see. I think it's Isis. Isis is out for. I meditated a lot last week. I hope you did too. Ocean. She's also a huge one too. Oh my goodness. Saraswati, Persephone. There she is. And again, see all those oranges that are in her card. This is the Goddess Power Oracle Guide deck from Colette Baron-Reid. So that's where she's from. So I'm going to put her down there as well. And then we'll take one card and we'll, appendix. So work with the appendix. Second chakra, power of relationships, sexuality, creativity. Is fear preventing you from receiving the flow of good in your life? And we've got, this guy's hanging upside down, and that's a fearful position, right? I get that. I totally get that, to take those different perspectives can sometimes we don't want to take those perspectives because we're like, oh, if I even think that, well, then that's what it's going to be forever. Again, that's not true. Feel through your, feelings. Feel for how your feelings affect your thoughts and what actions then come out of that, and realize like, whoa, that really wasn't working for me. I feel like, but if I feel this and look at this, even though it didn't work for me in the past, let me feel for what's actually going on there and take my time with that and, see how I can actually, what can I pull out that actually does work so that I can figure out how to, do things a little bit better. What feels like the right fit for me? What feels like where I belong? So here we are. The beloved is the tree of life, and all creation is the fruit. Again, fruitful. We've been talking about fruit. This is from the that Rumi deck, the Rumi Jewels of Wisdom, Healing and Guidance. The beloved is the tree of life, and all creation is the fruit. And the beloved again is about, you know, what are the beloved is whatever your heart can connect to. It definitely needs to, you have to start with yourself to come in into that own inner divinity and to connect to things. What is bigger than you? Is it nature? Is it nature? Is it, you know, um, try to make it not, it may be something that you value on, you know, try to make it something that's not like dependent on another person. Um, it could be your projects, something that is coming from you, something that's coming from you. Take the time to figure out that. And if it's hard for you to do that without connecting it to something external from you, that's a great place to meditate and to understand more about that. So that way, you know, it's not that the people around, no, it's exactly, we are interconnected. It's all interconnected. But if we hang our hat on our happiness and our joy on something that's external from you, from us, it's that's unsustainable, and those kinds of expectations are absolutely going to lead to heartbreak. So anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. And I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll try to get back and do readings as often as I'm able this week. And I love you. Please let me know if you have any questions, comments. I know I have some project work to do on the Patreon stuff. I will do it and I'll get it out there, you know, as time allows. So anyway, have a great rest of your day. And I love you.